So, just underneath your little moose scarf, you kind of have these curves, slight curve, for the outer edge of your two front legs. Okay. And then a really stretched out kind of rainbow line for your tummy. Lots of curved lines here. Let me know when you got your legs and your tummy in. We're going to add our hooves after. Right angle, triangle, backwards right angle. I'm going to drop this down just a little bit because I'm noticing that my feet are off just a hair's breadth. Gotta love depth perception issues. And then you're just going to top off that area with a horizontal line, and that's literally your hoof. Perfect. Now the other ones are going to be kind of tricky, and not really tricky. It's literally a circle with a cutout V shape. You see that? And you're going to put them right next to your legs. And they're going to be about 1/3 of a moose head in height. So 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Let's clock your measurement. Whoop. See my guidelines? I'm literally going to use my guidelines to make an unfinished circle. And then, boop, cut out the separation in my hoof using a triangle. It's kind of like you're taking a bite out of a pumpkin pie or a piece of pizza. It's like a little Pac-Man, but he like rolled over and can't get up. I've fallen, I can't get up. I've done that before. It's terrible. Don't recommend it. All right, let me know if you have all your hooves in before I move on to the next step. You guessed it. It's just literally a curved line for your little hips. For your cheek and your tummy area, excuse me, I would do a side diagonal hatch for your muzzle, but the rest I'd use broken line for. Anywhere where the skin is tight to the face, you don't need like a fur texture. You're going to need something that's a little more forgiving. So hold your pen or your pencil like so on the end here. This is going to help decrease the amount of pressure that you're going to put into your pen. Mine's going to look a little bit darker because I kind of showed you how to do the movement with my pencil. I'm going to go over it with pen because this is a pen and ink class. So I will use pen in this course. However, this exercise can be done with colored pencil, could be done with pen, could be done with pencil, could be done with markers. Okay. It looks like he has a little beard. All right. So, broken line. See how I'm kind of just adding streaks of line down the face. Let me zoom in so you can see better. Auto focus! Yay! Alright, let's fold this guy in half. I would also use that side diagonal hatch that you did for the muzzle. I would also use that on your antlers. I forgot to mention that. Disclaimer, antlers don't have that much fur on them, so they don't need all that weird, wonky, fuzzy texture. Okay. But literally, See how I'm leaving some white space here? Feathering. I'm not going I'm feathering. Think of it as butterfly kissing the tip of your pen over the surface of your paper and leaving some space between each stroke. You almost kind of like want it to look like a wrinkled prune. If that makes sense. While you're doing that, I am going to add that side diagonal hatch to the edge or to my antler. This is a bigger shape and a more wonkier shape than your mouth. So there's going to be times that you don't want your ink pen to land in the same spot every single time because it will gather ink. You might not have to worry about that with a pencil. I don't know, it's been a while since I've used pencil. But as you get out to this thicker area, vary the way your pen or pencil strokes end. Like vary the length between each stop. And then you won't get that gathering that I got here, see? Alright, so this light tan area, like this kind of nice chestnut soft color, let's do 2 layers of our broken line hatch all the way across the body. So I'm going to do it here too. I'm going to do the 2 layers all the way across the rest of the body. You know why? Because the really darker areas are going to get a 3rd layer. But since this area is going to get a 3rd layer, I might as well just do it all the way across the body. That way I don't get confused. That way I know for a fact that's what I need. The hooves do not have fur on them, so I highly advise that you use the side diagonal hatch on the hoof area. But this is your art. You get to decide. I'm going to use the side diagonal hatch over here. I'm not going to be too worried about my pressure on these though, because these are pretty dark. So if you want to push a little bit harder over here, that's fine. Tummy gets one layer. 1 layer of broken hatch. I call it broken hatch. Alright. I'm going to write it down on here so you guys get an idea of what you need. Okay. Anything that's not labeled side diagonal hatch, you are going to use a broken line. Okay. So when you get down to your 2nd layer, feel free to slide your pen or your hand down your pen. This will help increase that pressure. Alright, now that we got most of our layers down and we have our map here, we're just going to go through and we're going to fine-tune things. When I say fine-tune, I mean kind of add an additional layer where it needs to be added. We're going to just add a little touch of darkness to the hooves, so I'll probably put 3, if not 4 layers of ink in the hooves and in the eyes. You're going to want to kind of sporadically move around your piece to see where you need to add the darker details. That's what I'm doing right now. Looks like I want some darkness on this hoof just a little bit more, so I'm going to add a secondary layer. If not, actually this would be like what, a 3rd layer? You get to decide how many layers you need. This is just a general guideline key that tells you what you should be doing approximately. So any area that's super dark, you're going to want to add at least 3 or 4 layers of crosshatch. Crosshatch because it's going to get you the darkness that you want to get to quicker and faster, and it's going to cover more of that white space on your paper. So let's continue this throughout your artwork, and then we will kind of take a peek at the body without the pencil and see if we need to add any sort of extra shading if necessary. So here I'm also adding an additional layer to my scruff, and I'm using curved lines on the bottom here to kind of imitate the natural curve of the curl in the moose's fur. I have a downward stroke, and that downward stroke is kind of changing a little bit as it's moving around the body to kind of emphasize the natural movement of fur. I'm also doing the same thing here on the ears. I'm curving my line because my shadow or my fur moves in a curve around the cartilage of my moose's ear. Here I don't like how the face is a little bit light. I kind of want it to stand out from the white of my paper, so I'm adding an additional layer. This is what I mean by kind of figuring out what works best for you, how many layers you need, because you might draw at a different pressure than me. Here I'm using kind of scratchy all around, going in all sorts of different direction kind of shading here for the tuft of fur on top of my moose's head. I'm doing this to kind of mimic the natural waves, curves, and curls of the hair and how it kind of naturally flows from the top of the moose down to the moose's forehead. If you want your moose to have like a curly afro curl, then decide to use that type of shading technique for your moose's hair. There is no specific rule as to how to do this. This is your art, your choice. Now, naturally, I'm going to want my moose's fur to be darker, so I'm going to make sure that I'm adding a rich amount of shading for my moose's scruff and my moose's tuft of hair. That is the fur that's located around the neck of the moose to help protect the throat and around the moose's forehead. I don't know about you, but these antlers are looking pretty thinned out. So I kind of want, excuse me, I kind of want to add a little bit of a layer of shadow just underneath the antlers to kind of give it that curved three-dimensional shape. So I'm feathering my way through that with a really light pressure. And the shadow is going to get bigger and bigger as it gets down and around towards the bottom of the moose's antler. I have to do the same thing to the other side. So I am going to feather it in very gently as well over here with a really fine butterfly or butterfly kisses. Yes, butterfly kisses stroke against the surface of my paper. As you can see, I added an additional pressure just on the edge of that curve to kind of create a gradual dark, medium to light illusion here. If you aren't okay with using additional pressure, you could always go over it using a fine tooth, stroke and add an additional layer instead of adding pressure. There are different ways where you can add darkness to your piece. Now that you've taken the time to kind of add additional fine touches to your moose, take a step back, look at your moose and see if you need to add any finer details whatsoever. I also highly recommend going over this piece with an eraser. That way you can see where the ink is lacking, because over time your graphite is going to fade, and if you come back to this piece years later without adding that extra ink to it, it is going to look unfinished again. So just take that into consideration and see if you want to do that final step before you spray your painting with a fixative, not painting but drawing. You get what I mean.